Okay, so best thing would be if each of you gentlemen would introduce yourself and say about you, your expertise, so that the public will get to know you better and we set the stage for the conversations.
Yes. So, hello, I'm Mihai Campan. Everybody calls me Mike, so you can call me Mike to be more informal. I'm a lawyer in the Cluj Bar Association, and my expertise is in commercial law, and this implies a lot of contracts and a lot of transactions, which nowadays are done with cryptocurrency as well. And that involves a lot of the new regulations that have to be practically applied. So I think that's the thing that made me to come here. So I hope to have a very good talk.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Adrian. I'm working for UNODC, which is United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. I'm probably the only institutional in this conference and in other conferences like this. My expertise is on anti-corruption. I originally was an investigator with the Anti-Corruption General Directorate in Romania. Since then, like 6 years ago, I left this business to work internationally, supporting different countries in different capacities around the world. I worked on anti-corruption, supporting development of legal frameworks and the strengthening capacities of law enforcement agencies and other authorities in Serbia, Moldova, Ukraine, Western Central Africa, where I was the UNODC Regional Anti-Corruption Advisor, and now I'm the coordinator of the anti-corruption program of UNODC in Haiti. And more, I'm working on anti-corruption at the global level for UNODC to find the intersection between anti-corruption, illicit financial flows, blockchain, AI, in everything that this concerns investigations, and also how we can use these technologies to better regulate, enforce transparency, etc. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ilija Rilaković, attorney at law from Belgrade, Serbia. I'm one of the co-organizers of ETH Belgrade, and the rest of the year I'm a lawyer to several crypto Web3 projects. And field of my expertise encapsulates corporate tax law and crypto law, crypto regulations. And I'm very happy to be here today with you to discuss from non-EU perspective MiCA regulation. And thank you for the invitation.
That's super great. We really need, in addition to EU laws, some fresh insights from outside the EU. I'll also introduce myself. My name is Diana Stetiu. I'm based in Bucharest. I've been in the crypto space since 2017, initially starting with advising ICOs in the age of the ICOs back then. And in 2024, last year, I filed for a MiCA license in the Netherlands. So from the Eastern Europe, I'm the first lawyer who applied for a MiCA license, and currently the only lawyer in Romania who has done that. So we have nice experts here, law enforcement, lawyers from Romania and from Serbia. So I believe that the discussions will gonna be really, really hot. Okay, so let's start. From an EU perspective first, do you think that the authorities are starting to shape the Ethereum ecosystem, and what will be the next move?
I think that it's not now that they started shaping the Ethereum and blockchain ecosystem in general. It's not since MiCA that we have regulations, not like MiCA, but we had certain regulations. We had anti-money laundering directive that was speaking already about crypto, that was speaking about compliance, that was speaking about customer due diligence. So since then already I think that institutions started shaping this industry, and more I think that we are going to see the national competent authorities like ASFE and the law enforcement looking into this environment more and more, see more investigations on frauds, etc., see more oversight of the authorities on this industry.
Mihai.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think that the implementation of all the crypto assets has been done, but I think that now we are in a very hot spot and a very hot place where a lot of things happened. And I told them that I have a very, very nice example. I thought that I will say it later. But yesterday I was not here because we signed a contract in which the price was paid in crypto assets. And we had a very huge problem here in Romania for anti-money laundering here. The AML here was not letting us sign that contract because it was paid with several crypto assets. And because of MiCA and because of a lot of new security things, we managed to go through that with that transaction. So I think that the institutions start to acknowledge that crypto is a reality. It's not something that might happen, it's something that is happening. And I think that, yes, they are changing and they want to imply and to implement these things. The next steps, I think that the perfect thing would be to have a EU regulation for many more fields, not just for not just MiCA, but a lot of other stuff. And I think that the top of the iceberg would be if real estate or land can be and would be able to be sold, and transactions with real estate could be made by on blockchain. And I think that that is the main goal to do this.
Interesting. Before giving the mic to taking the mic to share from Serbian perspective, perhaps I will just make an intervention. It's good that you pointed out maybe apart from MiCA, which is a regulation, meaning that it comes directly into the national legislation without being transposed. Maybe it would be good, for example, in terms of AML, that we shouldn't have only a directive, and from state to state we implement it differently. Maybe we should have a regulation in the future, and I think we are reaching that point for 2027, for example. Yeah, please.
And we don't have a regulation in Europe, but we have something that is also incredibly important to mention in terms of AML regulations, which is FATF, which is Financial Action Task Force, which acts as a global intergovernmental body, like a watchdog for implementing AML. And based on the policies, the recommendations, they have 40 recommendations on AML. A lot of regulation, of state regulation, are being shaped and respected and taken into consideration what they are saying on this topic.
Thank you.
Just for the audience and the context, so directives are bare minimum that EU sets, and as such they are transposed into national legislation, while regulations are directly applicable to national on the national level. So it's something that is more effective and should take less time to adopt it on a full scale. So just a short remark.
Very good one. And share your point of view. How do you think, for example, Serbian authorities or other authorities that you interacted with in assisting your clients, do you feel like they are putting some requirements on Ethereum projects? Do you feel like they want to shape the future?
I believe Serbian authorities, as well as the EU authorities and other regulators throughout the world, are chain agnostic, so they don't really care that much about blockchain you are built on. Serbian authorities, especially central bank, who is in charge for cryptocurrencies, and Serbian exchange, Securities Exchange Commission, so Serbian SEC, is in charge for tokens. Well, it depends whom you ask. Central bank, of course, is concerned about monetary stability of Serbian dinar, and not very open towards Web3 industry, while SEC is in better position because they monitor tokens and this token economy, and of course they are more open to have more token issuance in Serbia. In general, Serbian law on digital assets is similar to MiCA, so has similar areas that regulates. And for time being, I don't see on the horizon that the law will change in order to comply with MiCA, but I guess in 3 to 5 years, probably there will be discussions about that as well, because Serbia is on the accession path to the EU, and as with other laws and regulations, such as VAT directive or GDPR, we synchronize our laws to the European.
All right. So, because we also want to help the founders, help the builders, the Web3 space, what will be your one advice from a regulatory perspective that this is the most sensitive matter from your perspective that a builder or a founder, business owner cannot afford to ignore?
May I start? So wherever you are from, be it Serbia or the EU or any other jurisdiction, pay attention to what you offer. Is it token that you want to issue, and is it utility or security token? Or more importantly, if you offer any services, be careful what that service might be in order to comply with various requirements that regulators pose to projects, because it's very difficult to navigate this today crypto regulations without any kind of license, because many services that I see in practice that startups and projects offer can fall under some definition of licensed activity, although they do not look like something that is obvious, and that's the trap that founders should avoid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the most important provision, and I will mention it exactly, it's the recital 22. It's why it is the most important. We've seen of MiCA, because we've seen a large understanding in the industry that decentralized whatever, DeFi, DAOs, they are not actually regulated. And it's not there where we should be starting. We should start by recital 22, which defines what is actually centralized. And in the recital 22, we have mentioned that if you have any sort of control over the decentralized protocol, then that is not actually decentralized. If what we call decentralized has some parts that are centralized, then that is not actually fully decentralized. So then it falls under MiCA. And this is the question that we need to ask ourselves as founders. What is actually decentralized when we start a company? And in that regard, another very important aspect in terms of regulation, ESMA, which is the European Security Market Authority, is stating in their guidance for this year that the full responsibility for how you identify yourself, how you define your product, if it is a token or a crypto asset, is up to you. And after that, to the national competent authority in the oversight. But the responsibility is up to you to define it, to understand MiCA and define it according to MiCA, to understand if it falls under MiCA or under AML directive or other legal framework.
That was really great. I really like it that we are on the same page, Adrian. I also highlighted in a few other instances that it's so important not just to claim that we are decentralized, but also really be in practice and take the test if you are.
Yes,
Mihai.
I totally agree. And I think, to put it more simple, I think that you have to be very careful because you probably would think that you are doing something that is not under MiCA, but probably is under MiCA. So you have to respect all that. And another thing that I would like to say here probably is not the most important one, but dealing with companies and associations that use crypto assets, and after MiCA came in, they think that the things are very, very well regulated, and they are. But you have to be very careful how you integrate this in with other national law things, and especially you have to see how you put in your to see your accountant and to see your accountability laws and the financial laws because the things seem to be very clear, but have to be integrated in the national and other international directives as well. So first of all, be careful if you sell something or if you do something that you think that it's not under MiCA. Very probably it is, and to be very careful how you integrate it with other parts of law.
That was a really good input, Mihai. If you're not aware, there are some correspondence between European Commission and ESMA. For example, there are some parts where the product is complex. It's not just MiCA, not just crypto asset, but maybe it has a component of lending. Maybe it has a component of payment. And do you overlap in some places with payment institutions regulations? Maybe you overlap in some places with borrowing, lending. This is also regulated.
Business.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a very good point, Mihai. Thank you. So let's move forward. MiCA is often seen as a barrier, but do you think that once you get compliant, you can have like a competitive advantage out of this?
Yes, I think that you now, as in every field, I think the start is very important and to be on the first wave. So I think that yes, it's a very important time to do this, and there are lots of probably problematic stuff that we can see in, and we can catalogate MiCA as a barrier, like I don't know, the thing that you have to for instance, if you have stablecoins or stuff like that, you have to dare to be 100% backed up, and that can be very, very difficult for a lot of startups to have all the money that they need to in order to do the product. But once you do this, or once you are you have the MiCA approval, it will be very easy for you because you will have the basis to do a lot of businesses, and you would be able to react very, very quickly to what happens on the markets. So yes, I think that MiCA may be seen as a barrier, but if you respect it and if you comply with it from the start, it will be a very good advantage. Maybe not now, but maybe in 1, 2, or 3 years' time, you will think that it was a very good idea.
Adrian.
Yeah, my take on this is that regulation will come all over around the globe. If we speak about moving money and moving value and moving rights, property rights, regulation will come all over around the globe, maybe at different paces, maybe in different forms, but it will come. The fact that EU is the first that comes with a comprehensive regulation, I think will give a competitive advantage, especially to the companies that already get licensed under MiCA on the global scene, that will be seen like a vetting. The fact that you got a license under MiCA will give you the possibility, will give you a pole position in other legislations as well. So yeah, definitely I don't see it as a barrier. We need clarity. I don't think that there is any developer or I don't know blockchain creator that wants that his blockchain is being used for organized crimes, organized criminality or corruption or illicit financial flows. So we need both. We need a middle ground where we fight against criminality, of course, protect everything that the crypto industry stands for, pseudo-anonymity, decentralization, etc.
Thank you.
I beg to differ. I think that MiCA, in spite of bringing clarity, brings also a lot of difficulties, especially for startups, because it's so expensive to comply with all the requirements, let alone stable coins. It's not something that happens on a regular basis, although it's all the rage these days. But other services which might fall under CASP regulation, crypto asset service provision requirements under MiCA, because it's still early phase of MiCA application, and on the market it's graphed, and it's so expensive to comply with all the requirements. That's why only big exchanges, I would say behemoths on the market, such as OKX, Bitpanda, BitDead, other things. I don't know how many. Yeah, how many of them applied, but they're really big players, and they can afford to pay hundreds of thousands of euro to obtain licenses in Malta, Austria, Germany, Netherlands, I don't know where else. And it's not only MiCA, but I think that EU is overkilling with regulations, because there are other requirements under DORA. It's Digital Operation Resilience Act.
Very good point.
Also, it's huge topic these days with GDPR interpretation. So are validators and nodes data processors? And the way that European Authority for Data Protection sees it. I think Viara is talking about that on the main stage now. So if you see her, chat with her, she will be happy to share her insights with you. There are other issues such as transfer of e-money tokens, which are stable coins. So do you have to comply with transfer of fund regulation, payment services directive 2, and so on and so forth. That's from my perspective from like a side perspective.
Thank you. Sure.
So I definitely see your point, of course, but I'm curious what could be the alternative, because I see that it's overregulated, it's overexpensive to do only if you implement the due diligence, customer due diligence that is foreseen by and described by anti-money laundering Directive 5. It's heavy. What is the alternative? What could be the alternative? How should that be done otherwise?
I agree that regulation is coming. The room for a full permissionless approach and decentralized approach is narrowing down, especially because not many projects are fully decentralized or sufficiently decentralized, as MiCA puts it. But from some actions of European authorities, I see that they're not either aware of how the technology works, or they have malicious intentions. So I'll let the audience conclude what would prevail, what could be the conclusion. So I agree that regulation is coming and necessary, but the way this whole approach to Web3 in the EU, I think it was rushed a little bit, and now it's kind of like deadlock, because there are some rules in place, but they're not fit. They do not fit into Web3 exactly, and regulators are perplexed how to proceed further. So, how to move forward?
Okay, yes, I see that point. And it could be discussed if it's too early or not. I think that it's not the right time, maybe now, but it has to be done in the very near future. But I wanted to add something on the thing that you said, that it's very expensive to comply with the CASPs and to be in accord with MiCA. I think that yes, it is, but it could be a very it could open a lot of doors, because everybody, from my point of view, that works in or develops blockchain, asks me one question, or the most asked question is, will be able to sell land and real estate over with blockchain? And I think that this really helps us in the future to do that, because we have to know. And one of the big problems there is that if we don't have information about the guy that owns that coin, we don't know who pays the price. We don't know a lot of stuff. And I think that this would be the start and a very good foundation to build and to go forward and to be able to reach this goal of everybody to do real estate over blockchain.
Thank you, Mihai. I will also spend a little time talking about the cost, because as a person who went through the license, I'm super aware of the cost that a crypto asset service provider will incur in obtaining the license. But I also want to point that there is a bright side. Once you get that license, you can have big investors, because they will, you will present to them as being reliable, as being compliant, authorized, licensed. You can have investors like, I believe, Sequoia, like big companies from the United States who want to do business in a regulated crypto asset service provider in the European Union. I also believe that you have the possibility to do an IPO if you want, because you have that credibility that you've been licensed. And getting this crypto asset service provision license, it's sometimes equivalent in terms of effort to taking a banking license. And it also gives you that credibility like you are a bank, but in the crypto space. And when it comes to cost, I think it should be more awareness that you put the cost into something for your future, to be regulated and to be compliant, because you know the cost in Web3 space, sometimes the projects, the business owners are more familiar to paying thousands of grants in I don't know what kind of influencer or sort of Formula One or GTC who are promoting the company, but when it comes to allocating the budget for being compliant, they somehow feel like it's too much. And I think the priorities should change, because your future and doing business in a regulated way, it's more important than just making visibility with influencers and big stars. So, because we have Ethereum in our attention, do you think that there is a blind spot for Ethereum builders that they should be aware of from a regulatory perspective and correct something or adapt or at least anticipate the regulations in somehow?
Yeah, for me, I come again to the example that I previously offered. I think that is very important for anyone that is building on Ethereum and on any other blockchain to understand MiCA and to understand, as I said, it's their responsibility to understand under which provision the product that they are creating falls. So that is really important to understand if it's under MiCA, what they need to comply. Yeah, I think this is the thing that is the most tricky and the most important to figure out.
Thank you.
Although it's not intuitive, there are certain aspects of DeFi which are neglected, especially on the developer side, as MiCA defines custody, among other things, as enabling users to access certain platforms. So, and that's okay. Nothing against that definition, but if you dig a little bit deeper, what is access? So if you, for example, develop interface or front end for a decentralized platform such as Uniswap, which because of its decentralized nature does not fall under MiCA, you as a front end developer might be liable under MiCA because you provide access to that DeFi protocol. So that's something that is not often, not enough in focus of developers, because they are focused on the UX and UI, hopefully, and the functionalities of that front end, but they do not know, or they're not aware enough of their obligations and liabilities according to various regulations. So that's one take that developers should consider.
Yes, this was exactly the thing that I wanted to say, and I wanted to be the last because I want to be very clear that I saw that a lot of developers have problems because they think that the company they develop to, if that doesn't fall under MiCA, they do not fall under MiCA as well. But this is not a rule. If you're a developer, maybe what you do falls under MiCA, even if you work for some other company that does not fall under MiCA. So that's a very important thing to take care.
Please.
Another very important principle under MiCA, it's same risk, same rules. Meaning that even if a product is being developed, whatever you are developing on blockchain, the simple fact that you developed it on blockchain, if the use case, if that certain token is behaving like a security, that does not mean that will fall under MiCA. That will mean that it's a security. So we are looking actually at what we have developed does, and not if it's being developed on blockchain, it's automatically under MiCA. And another principle is substance over form, in the same sense as same risk, same rules.
Very good.
If I may,
please, Ilija.
Yeah, so I know that legal documents are boring and that nobody has time to go through scores of pages to understand some concepts that we are trying to present here. Go to YouTube and find a video of Eva Wong from Parity or Polkadot talking about developers' liability at DevCon conference. It's very very well explained, and it will give you some sense of what is expected from you as a developer.
All right, so since we are also on the topic with developers, you see that under MiCA started to regulate very much the market abuse. And MiCA is concerned that the project won't do pumps and dumps, won't do insider dealing, won't manipulate the market. There is a certain thing with the developers that, for example, when they build, they may have some interactions with the blocks, and they might want to extract the maximum advantage, which is called MIV, maximum extractable value. I think it's something that we should bear in mind, that you could also find some regulations, even if you operate in a decentralized space that are against market abuse, and it might impact you. Also, there are some sort of regulations that interact with developers, with builders when it comes to anti-money laundering. And I believe that from a building perspective, what Tornado Cash did as an idea, and it's good, but overlooking certain aspects was a minus in that thing. Maybe Adrian, you wanna give some more insights around this topic with DeFi and some other rules and regulations that we should be aware of.
Yeah, I'm going to try to give some concrete examples, less rules and regulations and provisions. Just imagine, I know that in this space we speak a lot about anonymity, preserving our identity, decentralizations, which I completely agree with it. But I almost haven't heard at all in these 3 days, and in general in these kind of conferences, people speaking about criminality that is being used with these crypto assets. And it's actually something that we need to reconcile, because in the other echo chamber that I'm usually working, which is governments and UN and so on, they also see more, of course, the angle of criminality. In this one, it's more this other angle, decentralization. Okay, we need to stay together and try to understand that we need to fight against criminality while preserving also these values that we are promoting through Web3 companies. And I'm giving a really simple example. Just imagine that if you are a terrorist organization and you want to pass to Europe with $500 million, just remembering your keys, you are going to be able to do that. Get to Europe, no one will know, especially if you traded that directly. Someone gave you the keys, you just gave the cash money. No one will know that you got actually $500 million in Europe, that you can fund whatever you want, from terrorism to drugs trafficking to organs trafficking to whatever. And I know that for a lot of people that have only lived in Europe and in stable countries, what we are having here in this room, it's a given. And we take it for granted, which it's really not. I live in a country now in Haiti where if I'm walking down the street, my chances to get kidnapped are very high. Just walking down the street a few hundred meters. So this is a real risk, the kidnapping in Haiti. We want to preserve this safety that we have in countries like Romania, to do this kind of gatherings without being afraid of this kind of criminality. So this is where I really think that due diligence, I know that no one likes in this industry QIC, but it's important, and we need to find the angle to protect the values of the industry, but at the same time to protect the people from organized crime, terrorism, etc.
Thank you. Some thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that, like the example that I started with, if we don't know that somebody is fighting against criminality, we have to keep in mind that the governments do this. And because this thing is done, may be a challenge in developing, because if you don't comply from the beginning, there are some institutions that can come and
enforce you.
Yes, and enforce you to do it, and it may not be that nice. Yes.
That pleasant, of course not. Ilija, maybe I'll give you. Oh, okay.
What was the question
just
again?
some thoughts. If you feel like some sort of regulations, either market abuse or anti-money laundering, should be taken in consideration more in a decentralized space, even if it's decentralized.
Again, not many projects are really
decentralized.
Truly decentralized. Yeah. So it's maybe not that big issue. I'm aware of bad actors, malicious actors using crypto, but whenever I encounter an argument that crypto is used by criminals, I ask those with whom I discuss just to Google few prominent money laundering cases with banks like Wells Fargo, HSBC. It's hundreds of billions laundered through bank accounts, which is way more than with crypto. So we should be aware of the risks that it brings, but I would say still the cash is the king. Because in situations like we had recently in Spain and Portugal, when the power was when there was a blackout for I think 24 hours or something, you could not do anything with e-money, with crypto, even though you had 100 of bitcoins. So. As Adrian said, there should be balanced approach, and as an ultimate end principle, we should have in mind that if you choose security over freedom, you will lose both. So that's my take.
Thank you. Interesting. Super interesting. While you were mentioning your views, I was thinking that since the criminality is still very important to fight against, and you were mentioning cash is king. Indeed, cash is king, but the authority are also looking when other kind of institutions, the traditional one, are collecting cash. Are they AML compliant? I don't know if you know, some years ago, ING in the Netherlands was fined with $700 million for anti-money laundering. For the ones in crypto space, I know you know how Binance was fined, how Crypto.com was fined, and so on. And I believe it's better to comply in advance and to budget compliance than suffering the consequences of a big fine, which in some cases could bring the liquidation of the company. Adrian, in your law enforcement, I will start again with you. Maybe you can share a little bit about your activities and if you see any sort of cooperation between the Web3 space and a governmental institution in law enforcement.
I actually think it's essential. This is actually what I mentioned. We cannot continue speaking in echo chambers, even if, of course, there are efforts of consultation. We need to be together, even in this conference. I have not seen one politician, one institutional. I'm the only one coming from this world, and I don't think that it's possible. Okay, it's beautiful innovation, but it will never be able to properly function if we don't. If the ones that regulate don't hear this industry to do it better. If we only complain about the regulation, that won't help much, right? So we need to get together and work on it. And I will give a few examples where we could work together and where we can work where I can work together as UNODC. Facilitate this bridging between companies, private sector, civil society, and governments, just to understand both perspectives, because both perspectives are important. On investigation is something that I'm working on now, developing investigations on chain and capacities of states at a global level on chain, and also artificial intelligence in financial investigations. And who is a better on-chain investigator than the one who has developed the blockchain? Okay. So that is something that I also am. Actually, I'm shortly we are going to start implementing some projects in that respect. We already have some trainings on blockchain investigations, etc. We are looking more at AI, the way we can be using AI in financial investigations, and we need people that actually know how to use these tools and can teach others. And the third very important point that I see, we speak about, in Web3, speak about decentralized autonomous organizations, the governance in DAOs, etc. But for me, the best use case, it's not the money, it's not pumping meme coins in this industry, but is making governance much better. making people's life much better. This was, for me, the best iteration for this industry, making governance and governments more transparent, making them more friendly and open to the society, to the population. So this would be the third thing where I see an alliance between governments and crypto companies to build use cases and really show how this blockchain can help govern better. As simple as that. We speak about a lot of use cases, but there are not a lot of applications that have easy use case, that can be easily implemented, that is cheaper. I don't know. This is what, in my opinion, we should show government and offer them to have also the adoption that we speak for so long in this industry.
Yeah, Ilija, share something about your interaction, perhaps, with government in Serbia. Is the government supportive with Web3 community? Perhaps you can, or they are doing some projects, pilots together.
Currently, they're not interested that much in Web3 community, which is good because it let us do our thing without any obstacles, interference.
Yeah, at least not obstacle, if not supportive.
Yeah.
Ideally, it would have been to be supportive.
I have only nice words for SEC, who supports our initiatives, participate in our events, and who is always ready to listen about the problems and ideas we bring to them. So that's really commendable. It's good that our government did this solid work with proposing law on digital assets, but it was not just because they wanted to be the forefront of this industry, but because they were a bit afraid that foreign direct investments will stop during and after the COVID. So that's why they rushed to enact the law to tap into this crypto potential. So when they had seen that investments keep coming, their enthusiasm for crypto faded away. Yeah. But as I said, just don't obstruct us, and we'll be good. Because Serbian Web3 community, I would say, is thriving. That's maybe too bold to say, but there are other Serbian friends from that community with whom you can discuss that. And projects that came from Serbia also prove that.
Okay, thank you. Maybe Mihai wants to add something, and then we give to the room.
Yes, just very briefly, and I will probably end on a negative side, but I want to add something about what Adrian said. I think that it's very important, yes, this relationship between developers or persons who work on blockchain and the authorities, because I will say very briefly what I can about the case. It was in Romania here, finished like 2 or 3 months ago. It was a money laundering case, and it involved cash and some crypto assets. And for the cash part, it was very, very simple to show that some developers and traders were innocent. But for the crypto part of view, because the law enforcement authorities literally do not understand what, or did not understand what they were doing. It was 1 year's worth of stress to show and to prove their innocence, and that guys, there were 7 guys, were actually facing prison because they thought to do something revolutionary, but yeah, it all went well in the end. But I think that yes, that should be, and there should be a relationship, a very strong relationship between authorities and the crypto developers, because this, I know all the crypto world is very nice and it has very good principles, but it functions in the real world, and the two of them cannot be separated. So yes, I think that we have to have more conversations and to use specialists even in the other part, so the authorities to speak and learn from specialists, because it could be a very negative outcome if not so.
Very good point.
Better UX and UI would help greatly.
Let's give to the audience the possibility to ask us some questions. We have quite a few. Oh. Do you want to read them?
Yeah, sure, I'll read them out. Solidity Wizard, let's start with you. So, do we have similar expectations from the traditional value exchange chain, e.g. banks, and blockchain in terms of regulation, or are we more demanding in any of these two? Does anybody here want to take that?
Should I take it? Okay.
Feel free.
So when we exchange value in the traditional finance world, we have some rules which in the exchange of fiat for crypto, they also apply. So I would say it's absolutely equality between the two. Fiat for crypto goes by the same rules like fiat in the traditional way. So it's not more demanding, in my opinion.
Perhaps let's go on to a slightly simpler, I hope, question. What's the average final price to obtain a MiCA license? Asks Ether Dreamer 245. That's the question at the bottom.
No, I think that she's the best one to.
What's your point on the fact that regulation is bounded?
No, this one.
Oh,
This
okay,
one at the
okay.
bottom here.
What is the final price to obtain a MiCA license? A final price. It depends on the complexity of your products. It depends what's the service you offer, because under the MiCA regulation, there are a couple of services. And based on the services, you also have a minimum capital that you need to keep at all moments in your bank account, like capital adequacy rules. For example, if you do just something simple, exchanging fiat for crypto for other crypto, and having custodial wallets, you would have just like 125 thousand euros to keep at all points in the bank account, which is a cost at all point of doing business, for example. The MiCA license per se, it's of course expensive because it involves lawyers and it involves also authorities. For example, in the Netherlands, the persons who are reviewing your case, the case handlers, have a fee of 200 euros per hour. And if they are reviewing for 400 hours your application, you can make the calculation. For example, this is a fee, just a regulatory fee, not a lawyer's fee. Then it comes, of course, the lawyer's fee, and it depends how good you cooperate with the lawyer and how good expert the lawyer is. If he has already good knowledge, it could help you navigate smoothly, and in that case, for you, the cost would be less, let's say, just from the top of my head. Something else?
Well, does somebody want to take question number 2 there? Yeah?
Go ahead. Okay, so what's your point on the fact that regulation is bounded to physical borders and blockchain, as it runs over the internet, is not? Is there any difference between regulating blockchain versus regulating the internet and how we interact digitally? Actually, it is regulated, and even blockchain can be limited to physical borders. The fact that you can move assets and cryptocurrencies over borders without being directly stopped by a government doesn't mean that you don't have regulation in a certain country. And if you can do some things on blockchain that are forbidden in a certain country, does not mean that it's legal, and it does not mean that you are not you could not be subject to investigations. And this is why I'm going to advocate for that as UN. Of course, it's important to have international cooperation and to have cooperation at the international level between countries, between law enforcement, to trace these kind of assets. And it's not only actually the case of blockchain and internet. Traditional assets are traveling across banks from different jurisdictions, and we need to apply the same kind of strategy in terms of investigating or in terms of respecting different legislations from different jurisdictions. So this would be my answer to that.
Yeah, just to follow up on the second question. So, yeah, this is kind of conservative approach that regulations are bounded to physical borders. But in case of MiCA, it applies in Europe. That's true. But then you have a reverse solicitation rule, which forbids you as a non-EU country offering services to EU users without having a license. That would be avoiding of requirements that MiCA poses to European companies, and that would make an unfair competition. So it goes beyond borders. Just have a look of what happened to Doc One. He is extradited to the US. So with countries that have strong international reach, let's put it that way, they can expand their regulations across the national borders.
Awesome, thank you very much. There's actually another question that's been added, but I can't see it because it's at the bottom. Could someone scroll down, please? If developing for a client, should the client be the one who deploys a smart contract from EtherBunny461? It's a bit of a broader question there. Is that something that someone wants to answer? Sounds like a no. Okay, how about we go on to a different question. What category, what type of Web3 companies probably going to see the easiest integration into MiCA? And indeed, on the other side of it, what type of crypto company is going to find it the hardest, do you think, based off your understanding?
I think that we cannot answer exactly this thing, because I think that there are challenges for all the Web3 categories and clients, and I think that what sounds easy for one company, maybe it's complicated for the other one, and the fields are very, because MiCA is a very long and it regulates a lot of stuff, and a lot of things fall under MiCA, and I think that we cannot say which would be the easiest, because all the companies will face
So
challenges.
it'll come down to the specificity of the company itself rather than what category it falls into, basically.
I would say it's more of a joke that the fully decentralized company, because like that, if it's fully decentralized and if it's a smart contract locked without the possibility to control, without the possibility completely immutable, etc., then that will 1% fall outside of MiCA, so that's the easiest.
I was thinking you would reply with something like that, yeah.
And also this is important in terms of innovation. I think this regulation where it's like, where MiCA takes into consideration, explains what is fully decentralized, might actually encourage to really create companies that are really completely decentralized, because there are not a lot of them. If we start looking in the protocols, how they are being controlled, it's very few companies that are completely decentralized. That might encourage innovation towards real, complete decentralization.
Okay, that'd be quite exciting, actually. Any other questions from the crowd? Do put your hand up if so. No? Okay. Any closing thoughts from our panel of experts? Or would you like to finish there?
Just give them a round of applause.
Round of applause, everyone.